Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial on mastering Angular 17. I am excited to dive deep into the latest features and enhancements that Angular version 17 brings to the table. My name is Ayazafar and I have been working with Angular for more than 10 years. I have seen the framework evolve over time and I must say Angular 17 is a significant milestone that sets the stage for the future of Angular development. In this tutorial, we will be covering several key features that make Angular 17 stand out. First, we will explore Angular's new look and enhanced documentation experience with the introduction of Angular.dev. Next, we will dive deep into the powerful built-in control flow statements that simplify the conditionals and loops in your templates. We will also take a close look at deferrable views, a game-changing feature for lazy loading components and improving application performance. Additionally, we will explore the enhancements made to Angular's hybrid rendering capabilities, including server-side rendering and static-side generation. And finally, we will touch upon several other notable features and quality of life improvements that Angular 17 brings to the table. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and let's embark on this exciting journey of mastering Angular 17 together. Let's start by discussing Angular's new look and documentation. With Angular 17, the framework gets a fresh new branding that reflects its future-looking features and performance improvements. The iconic red square logo has been replaced with a modern hexagonal shape featuring a vibrant gradient. This new logo symbolizes Angular's evolution and its commitment to styling and its commitment to staying at the forefront of web development. But the changes don't stop there. Angular has also introduced a brand new documentation site called Angular.dev that you can see on my screen right now. This revamped documentation platform offers an enhanced learning experience, making it easier for developers to navigate and find the information they need. One of the standout features of Angular.dev is interactive learning experience powered by web containers. This allows you to dive into Angular concepts and practice coding right within the documentation itself. It's a game changer for learning and experimenting with Angular. To give you a glimpse, let's take a look at the new Angular.dev site. As you can see, the site has a clean, intuitive layout. The navigation is well structured, making it easy to find guides, API, reference, and tutorials. And let me click on one of these tutorials. If you click on this, here is where the magic happens. The interactive tutorials with web containers. You can write and run Angular code directly in the browser without the need of any local setup. It's a fantastic way to learn and experiment with Angular on the go. You can see we have access to the terminal, console, and preview, and much more. You can make changes and see the results in real time. So let me make a change here. Welcome to Ayaz Tech. Save it, and as soon as you save it, you will notice that the change has been appeared in the real time. Okay, pretty cool, right? Angular's new documentation site and interactive learning experience make it more accessible and enjoyable to learn and experiment on the go. Further, this is the playground section where you click and you will see the entire application in the full screen. You can select the templates that you want to test out. For example, if you want to test the control flow, it will show you examples for the control flow and other things as well. Now that we have explored Angular's new look and documentation, so let's move on to the next exciting feature, the built-in control flow statements. Angular 17 introduces a new block template syntax that simplifies conditional rendering and looping in your templates. This new syntax provides a more intuitive and performant way to control the flow of your application. Let's start with the conditional statements. Previously, you would use the ngIf directive to conditionally render the elements in your templates. So let me show you here directly in this playground. So for now, I will get rid of everything so that I could show you what I'm talking about. So here, I added a div. So in the past, you used to add the ng if directive in this way, and you would add a condition after that is logged in is if it is true, and here you would add else log out. Okay, and I added the remaining part of this code. We added the welcome username and the template, and we added the template reference variable logged out. Okay, so this is how we used to do it. So with the new block syntax, you can achieve the same functionality using the if else directives. So for that, let me get rid of that, and you would add something like this. We have the if is logged in and welcome username, and in the else we have the other opposite block. So as you can see, the new syntax is much more concise and readable. It eliminates the need for ng template tag and provides a more natural flow for conditional rendering. But the improvements doesn't stop there. Angular 17 also introduces the switch directive, which provides a more ergonomic alternative to ng switch. So let's compare the two. This time I would use my VS Code so that we could clearly see the code highlighting as well. So here, let me add both ways. So we have the user role. Now let me define the user role in the app component.ts so that we could use it in our HTML. Okay, save it. All right. Now let's go back to our browser and let's reload it. Here it is saying admin dashboard. Okay, this is happening because we are using ng switch both times. So this is the old way and this is the new way. Let me add br tag here and add the hr, and let me fix my display flex. Here I will add flex direction column. Okay, and here let me add some style. Okay, so this is using the old approach and this is using the latest. Now let's look at the code. So this is the old approach, where you can see the code is too much complex and it takes a lot of code, but this is more natural to JavaScript, so it feels like you are writing JavaScript. So it is more easy and simpler to understand. So here we are using the switch, and here we're using the case admin, then show this. If case is user, then show this. So the switch directive provides a cleaner and more readable syntax for handling multiple cases. It also allows for better type narrowing in each case block, improving overall developer experience. Now let's talk about looping. Angular 17 introduces the for directive, which is high performance alternative to ng for. So let me show you example for that as well. I am going to remove this, and this is the example of the for directive. So now let me add the items array here so that we could use and show you. Okay, so I have added one item. Let me add a few more. Okay, now here by the way, we don't need to add let here, and other than that we also have to add the track item.id. We have to add the id property as well. Okay, I have added the id property as well. Now let me show you, it is still working. So this is the latest method to use the for loop. The for directive provides a simple and intuitive way to loop over arrays or iterables in your template, but what sets it apart is its performance. Angular 17's for directive uses a new diffing algorithm and has a more optimized implementation compared to ng-for. In fact, benchmarks have shown that for directive can provide up to 90% faster runtime compared to ng-for. This significant performance boost can make a noticeable difference in the responsiveness and speed of your application. So this is a benchmark. If you would like to look at it by yourself, I will share the link as well in the description, you can come here and observe this benchmark. To enable the built-in control flow statement in your Angular 17 project, you can use ngGenerate command. So for example, if you are using an old version of Angular 17, then simply open the command line and there you have to type ngGenerate space Angular slash core colon control dash flow, and you just have to press enter. So this command will update your project to use the new block syntax and enable the if, else, switch and for directives. So it will also ask you that which path in your project should be migrated. You can specify. By default it will pick up the current path, so just press enter. It will start from the root directory, and it has looked at the source code and it came to know that nothing to be done because it is already on the Angular 17. But if it is on the older version, then you will notice the progress here and it will upgrade your version for that specific part. So whether you're looking for more intuitive conditional rendering, improved type safety or faster looping performance, Angular 17's built-in control flow statement have got you covered. Next up, let's explore another game-changing feature, deferrable views and how they revolutionize lazy loading in Angular. Alright, let's talk about one of the most powerful features in Angular 17, deferrable views. Deferrable views revolutionize the way we approach lazy loading in Angular applications. They provide a declarative and intuitive way to lazy load components and their dependencies, resulting in improved performance and better user experience. So what exactly are deferrable views? In simple terms, deferrable views allow you to specify when and how a component should be lazily loaded. Instead of eagerly loading all the components upfront, you can defer the loading of certain components until they are actually needed. Let's see an example. Suppose you have a component called comment list that displays a list of comments. With deferrable views, you can lazily load this component using the defer directive. So let's look at that practically. I have to generate a component by using ng command, ngGenerate c comment list, press enter. Okay, the folder has been created and now we have to import that component in the imports array of our app component so that we could use it here. Comment list component, save it. Okay, now let's add it here. Below here I will add comment list in this way. So right now we are not deferring it, so that's mean it would be immediately loaded in the code. So I have added the comment list component within this div and now it is fully visible. If I reload it, this is you see in the network. So this is a last request, but now let me wrap it in the defer directive, save it, and now let's reload it. This time you notice that there is another chunk that was downloaded. If you click on that, you can see it is a comment list component that was downloaded after some time. Okay, but what's really powerful about deferrable views is the ability to specify different trigger options for lazy loading. Angular provides several built-in triggers that you can use. First one is on viewport. This lazy load the component when it enters the viewport. Then next one is on idle. This lazily load the component when the browser is idle. And then we have the on timer delay that lazily load the component after a specified delay. Then we have on interaction. So this lazily load the component when the user interacts with the specific element. So let's see an example of using on viewport trigger. Add parenthesis here. Within this parenthesis I will add on viewport, save it. So I got an error that is saying viewport trigger with no parameter can only be placed on an defer that has placeholder block. So we have to add placeholder section as well to get rid of this error. And here we can add loading comments. Okay, so I have added this placeholder. Now I will add it in a div. Okay, now error has gone. So let me reload it. For a very small amount of time, you would notice that there is a loading message appear. So in this case, comment list component will be lazily loaded when it enters the viewport, Angular takes care of all the complexities behind the scenes, such as observing the viewport and triggering the lazy loading at the right moment. So let me show you it further by hiding this component from the viewport by adding the margin top. Okay, so here I will add a div spacer, and here I will add margin bottom 1000 pixels. Okay, so it will push everything below it with the margin of 1000 pixels. Now let's check it. Okay, this is my spacer, and let me show you the inspect element in the network. Let me clear everything. So far the component is not loaded. If I scroll down, as soon as the component is about to be visible in the viewport, it will immediately lazy load that component. So let's scroll down, and you can see as soon as I reached to the bottom, it has downloaded the comment list component. So it will not download it until you are at that point. Okay, so if your component is heavy, then and if it takes time, then it will automatically show the placeholder that you are showing here loading. Okay, so you can use any separate feature module or feature component as well here. But what about the user experience while the component is being lazily loaded? That's where placeholder come in. With deferrable views, you can specify placeholder that will be displayed while the component is loading. So in the example that we shown you, we have added a placeholder that shows loading comments until the comment list component is ready. Another great deferrable view is the ability to prefetch the lazily loaded dependencies. Prefetching allows you to start loading the dependencies ahead of time, so they are ready when needed. You can specify the prefetch behavior using the prefetch option. So for example, here you can add semicolon prefetch on idle. Okay, and let me get rid of placeholder. Okay, so in this case, the dependencies for the comment list component will be prefetched when the browser is idle, ensuring the smoother and faster loading experience when the component is actually needed. Deferrable views offer significant performance improvements and enhance the user experience of your Angular application. By lazily loading component and their dependencies, you can reduce the initial bundle size, improve loading times, and provide a more responsive interface to your users. Angular manages all of the complexities of lazy loading, including code splitting, dependency resolution, and seamless the integration with the change detection mechanism. It abstracts away the low-level details, allowing you to focus on building your application logic. So if you want to take your Angular application's performance to the next level and provide a better user experience, deferrable views are definitely worth exploring. Next, let's dive into the enhancements made to Angular's hybrid rendering capabilities. Alright, let's dive into the exciting enhancements made to Angular's hybrid rendering capabilities in version 17. First and foremost, Angular now makes it easier than ever to enable server-side rendering SSR and static site generation when creating a new application. When you run the ng-new command, you will be prompted with an option to enable SSR and SSG right from the start. So by selecting Y means yes or simply including --SSR flag, your new Angular application will be pre-configured with the necessary setup for hybrid rendering. This saves you time and effort in manually configuring SSR and SSG for your projects. Speaking of server-side rendering, I am thrilled to announce that Angular's hydration feature has graduated from developer preview and is now production ready in version 17. Hydration allows you seamlessly convert your server-rendered application into a fully interactive client-side application, providing the best of both worlds in terms of performance and user experience. To make the adoption of SSR and SSG even smoother, Angular 17 introduces a new package called Angular/SSR. This package consolidates all the necessary dependencies and configurations for server-side rendering into a single cohesive package. If you have an existing Angular application and want to add SSR capabilities, it is as simple as running ng-add at Angular slash SSR. So let me show you really quick. So here in your terminal, let's type that command ng add at Angular slash SSR. Press enter. So it will ask you question, would you like to proceed? Yes. And if you would like to install it from scratch, you can also do that. So let me open my terminal. Okay, in your terminal, let's create a new package, ng new Angular 17 SSR. Okay, and press enter. Now it will ask you few options. So let's select SAS. And now this is the main question that I was talking about. Do you want to enable server-side rendering and static side generation? Just press Y, and this will configure everything according to your requirements. So this will take care of everything. It will take care of generating the server entry point, adding the required build configurations, and enabling hydration by default. It simplifies the process of integrating server-side rendering into your existing projects, making it more accessible and straightforward. But the enhancements don't stop there. Angular 17 also brings improvements to the deployment experience, and particularly with Firebase and Cloudflare integration. Okay, the project has been installed. Now let's go to that project, ng Angular SSR. Okay, press enter, and now let's open it in our VS Code. All right, this is my project with the SSR enabled by default. So we got this server file, that is Simple Express app. Firebase now offers a seamless deployment experience for Angular applications. With the new framework aware CLI, Firebase automatically recognizes your Angular application and deploys it with near zero configuration. All you need to do is enable the web framework experiment, initialize hosting, and deploy. So let's do that. Open the terminal in the root directory of your project, and then type the command firebase experiments enable web frameworks. Press enter. So it is saying enabled experiment web frameworks. Now let's run the command firebase init hosting. Press enter. Okay, now it is asking that use an existing project or create a new one. So I think I already have a project, so I will use an existing one. You can first go to the console and create a new project and then select that one. So let me select this one and press enter. The project has been selected, and now it is hosting the setup there. So now it is asking detected an existing Angular code base in the current directory. Should we use this? Just press Y, enter. Okay, now it is asking in which region would you like to host server-side content if applicable. So let's just select the first one by default. And now it is asking set up automatic builds and deploys with GitHub. For now, I am not going to into that, so I will just select no. All right, the firebase.json file has been generated, and the initialization is also completed. After that, let's run the command firebase deploy. Press enter. So Firebase intelligently detects the use of SSR, internationalization, image optimization, and more, allowing you to serve performant web apps on cost-effective serverless infrastructure. Here it is saying thank you for trying our early preview of Angular support on Firebase hosting. During the preview, support is best effort and breaking changes can be expected. Proceed with caution. Okay, so it is also providing you a documentation as well. And here it is asking, would you like to share the usage data about this project with the Angular team at Google under the Google's privacy policy at this. For more details and how to change the settings, see this. For now, you can select Y, yes or no. So it's up to you. All right, it is building. Just wait for it. All right, I can see some progress here. It has created the bundles, browser bundle and server bundle and lazy chunk files. All right. Now I got an error that is saying your project must be on the Blaze pay as you go plan to complete this command. Required API can't be enabled until the upgrade is complete. So I did not enable the billing yet, so let me try to do that and we will resume from here. So I'm going to follow this link to see what happens. So I have to log in here first. Okay, I have logged in to my console and here we are using Spark that has free of cost. We have to switch the plan. So let me see what plan it is suggesting. It is suggesting that we have to migrate to the Blaze. So let's try modify plan and this is the Blaze. And now let's select that plan and here let's click on continue. Now it is creating my billing account. If it is already created, then it will use the existing one. So let's confirm by clicking the confirm button. And here I have to add the details. Okay, my billing account has been configured. So I'm just completing the steps that it is asking me to use. I'm just clicking it. So it is already Firebase enabled. That's fine. Now let's try to switch the plan to the Blazing again. So because now I have the billing account linked with it. So let's see if I can change it. Modify plan, click on the Blaze and I have the Firebase payment billing account that was created already. Now let's click on the continue and here we have to specify the budget. So for now, I just want to try that out. So I will just add minimum budget and click on the continue. And now let's click on the purchase. Okay, we have upgraded to the Blaze plan. Let's close it. Okay, after that is done, let's try to deploy it once more. Click, run that same command again and wait for the final message. Okay, it is saying application bundle generation completed. Now it is doing something interesting. All right, we see some progress deploying to this project. So it is deploying the functions, hosting. That's interesting. So it is saying that for function, this API is required, that is enabled. Required API, this one is also enabled. Okay, great. Now it is saying that serving at the port 8336, loading environment. All right. I think it will take this much time only for the first time, but next time if you deploy, I'm assuming that it should take less time. Now it is saying that creating Node.js 20 second generation function. Okay, the project has been deployed. If you click on that, then this project would be opened and you can see Angular is live. But if you also go to the view source, you will see that the website is static. That's why the all source code is here. But if you go to the normal website that is not static, so you will see that there is no source code here because this will load components on the fly. So for those who prefer native tooling or have complex Angular monorepo setups, Angular Fire provides a streamlined deployment process using the ng deploy command. So for that, you would open your project and you will add ng add at Angular/fire, press enter. It will add this in your project and press yes. So after it is installed, you will simply run the command ng deploy. So after running this command, Angular Fire takes care of deployment configuration and ensures a smooth deployment experience to Firebase. In addition to Firebase, Angular 17 has worked closely with Cloudflare to enable deployment to edge workers. With introduction of ECMAScript module support in Angular server-side rendering and the new fetch backend for HTTP client, deploying your Angular application to Cloudflare's edge infrastructure has never been easier. These hybrid rendering enhancements in Angular 17 empower developers to build fast, efficient, and seamless deployed applications. Whether you are starting a new project or upgrading an existing one, Angular 17 provides the tools and interactions you need to leverage the power of server-side rendering and static site generation. So if you want to boost your application's performance, improve SEO, and provide a better user experience, definitely explore the hybrid rendering capabilities of Angular 17. Next up, let's take a look at some other notable features and improvements in Angular 17. Alright, let's explore some of the other notable features and improvements that Angular 17 brings to the table. First up, we have a couple of new lifecycle hooks after render and after ng after next render. These hooks provide a way to register callbacks that are invoked after Angular finishes rendering the component. The after render hook is called after every render cycle, while after next render is called only after next render cycle. These hooks are particularly useful when you need to perform DOM manipulation or interact with third-party libraries that rely on rendered DOM. So let me show you a quick example how you can use after next render function. So let's generate a component here. Ng generate C my dash chart, press enter. So this has generated this component. Now within that component, I will add a div, and here I will add the template reference variable, and then let's go to the TS, and here I have added this code. Make sure to import the missing imports. Okay, so I have added all of the missing imports. Okay, so in this example, the after next render hook is used to access the chart element and initialize a third-party charting library after a component has been rendered. Next, let's talk about the build system. Angular 17 introduces White and ES Build as the default build tools for new projects. White is a fast and lightweight development server, while ES Build is high-performance JavaScript bundler. Together, they significantly improve the development experience and build performance. Benchmark results have shown impressive improvements with the new build system. For example, the build time for production build ng build has been up to 67% reduction, while the development server ngserve has achieved up to an 87% faster startup time. These enhancements make the development workflow more efficient and enjoyable. Angular 17 also brings powerful dependency injection debugging capabilities to Angular dev tools. With the new debugging APIs, you can now inspect the injector tree, see the resolution path of dependencies, and examine the providers declared within the individual injectors. This makes it easier to understand and troubleshoot dependency injection issues in your application. Another significant change in Angular 17 is that standalone components, directives, and pipes are now the default for the new project. Standalone components provide a more lightweight and flexible way to build Angular application without the need for ng modules. If you have an existing project that uses ng module, Angular provides migration schematics to help you incrementally migrate to standalone components. So for that, you would simply open your terminal and you will type the command ng generate at angular/core :standalone. Press enter. This schematic automates much of the migration process, making it easier to adopt to the new standalone architecture. Angular Material, the official component library for Angular, has also received an update in version 17. The library now includes new MDC-based components, which are built on top of Material Design Components MDC web library. These new components offer more customization options and adhere to the latest material design guidelines. Existing applications can still use the legacy components, but it's recommended to migrate to the new MDC-based components for better long-term support and compatibility. Lastly, Angular 17 includes several quality of life improvements that enhance the developer experience. For example, the View Tree Transitions API enables smooth transitions between routes, providing a more polished user experience. The Angular Image Directive now automatically generates pre-connect links for domains specified in the image loader, improving the loading performance. These small but impactful improvements contribute to a more delightful development experience overall. Angular 17 is packed with features and enhancements that cater to the needs of modern web development. From new lifecycle hooks and improved build performance to dependency injection, debugging, and standalone components, Angular 17 empowers developers to build high quality and performant applications with ease. So whether you are starting a new project or upgrading an existing one, Angular 17 has got you covered with a wide range of powerful tools and features. Alright, let's wrap up this deep dive into Angular 17. In this tutorial, we have covered a wealth of new features and improvements that Angular 17 brings to the table. We started by exploring Angular's new look and enhanced documentation experience with Angular.dev, powered by interactive learning through web containers. We then delved into powerful built-in control flow statements which simplify conditional rendering and looping in your templates. We saw how if, else, switch, and for provide more intuitive and performant way to control the flow of your application. Next, we discovered the game-changing feature of deferrable views which revolutionize lazy loading in Angular. With the defer directive and various trigger options, you can easily load components and their dependencies, resulting in improved performance and user experience. We also explored the enhancements made to Angular's hybrid rendering capabilities, including the new prompt for enabling SSR and SSG, the graduation of hydration, form developer preview, and the introduction of Angular/SSR package and the improved deployment experience with Firebase and Cloudflare integration. Lastly, we touched upon other notable features like new lifecycle hooks, the adoption of White and ES build as the default build tools, the dependency injection, debugging capabilities in Angular DevTools, the move towards standalone components, the new MDC-based Angular material components, and various quality of life improvements. If you are an Angular developer, I highly recommend updating to Angular 17 to leverage these powerful features and improvements. Angular 17 offers a more efficient, performant, and enjoyable development experience, empowering you to build high-quality applications with ease. To learn more about Angular 17 and dive deeper into its features, be sure to check out the official Angular documentation at angular.io. The documentation provides comprehensive guides, API reference, and examples to help you master Angular development. You can also find a wealth of resources, including tutorials and articles on the Angular blog and community forums. I hope that this tutorial has given you a solid understanding of what Angular 17 has to offer and has excited you about the possibilities it brings. If you found this tutorial helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel for more Angular content. I will be creating more in-depth tutorials and exploring the latest features and best practices in the Angular world. Once again, thank you for watching and happy coding with Angular 17.